Welcome to Nightmare Echoes. Listen closely, scream freely, and surrender to your horror obsession. I'm your host, Elazar, and tonight Stephen and I dive into Stephen King's Silver Bullet. How much time really passes between each of the werewolf's killings? How do you feel about the unforgettable Uncle Red? And would you ever light fireworks alone in the woods? If you dare to follow us, all our social links are in the description. Next week on the podcast, The Descent. But until then, a film that reminds you how innocent fun can turn deadly, especially when you're just flying a kite. Hello everybody, welcome to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host Elazar. I'm joined again by Steven. Steven, how's it going?
Hey, glad to be here to talk about Silver Bullet, and it's based on a Stephen King novel, Cycle of the Werewolf. I know that you've read a lot of these books, a lot of Stephen King's books. All of them? Or most of them?
I would say there's the last two that came out I haven't read yet. There's a lot of short stories that they're hard to pinpoint, I guess, that I haven't done, but most of the novels I have, yeah. I definitely finished all The Dark Tower. I've done all the major ones that have become movies, I believe. Just some of them, it might have been years since I read them. I did this one like 3 months ago.
Oh, so you read this book?
Right.
3 months ago?
Yeah, kind of recently.
Okay.
Yeah. It was made in 1985. It's an hour and 35 minutes long, and it's directed by Daniel Atias. It stars Gary Busey, who is comical. He's always Gary Busey, but he's the cool uncle here. He plays Uncle Red. You might know him from Point Break, Under Siege, and Lethal Weapon. Point Break is just classic, amazing. We got Everett McGrill as Reverend Lowe. He was in Heartbreak Ridge, which is one of my dad's favorite movie ever. And interestingly, also in Under Siege 2, Gary Busey was in one. Corey Haim was in a lot of stuff in the 80s. He plays Marty. He was in The Lost Boys, License to Drive, Lucas, Prayer of the Roller Boys. That one was bonkers. I watched that a lot as a kid. I was just, always wanted to rollerblade because of that. That's why I did rollerblade, I think. Megan follows as Jane Coleslaw. There's not too much I know that she's in other than that. And then Terry O'Quinn as the sheriff. Sheriff Howler. I know him from Lost, The Stepfather, and Young Guns. That's a classic movie. Anything you want to say about it before we start?
No, not really, other than I like the classics horror stories, and I think that's one of the reasons you probably picked this movie to talk with me about.
Because we've done a few.
Yeah, like werewolves and Dracula and Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly,
that type of thing.
And I think eventually we're going to get to The Mummy. Mm-hmm. We did The Invisible Man.
The Invisible Man.
Right, yeah. So we're continuing that trend, which I love. So the movie starts with a howl, and we see a full moon right next to the opening credits. We get a voiceover of Jane. She's basically, this is Jane older than she is as a child, telling us the story of what's going to happen. So this is all a flashback. It's memory from Jane. The voiceover tells us that the last full moon of the spring came a month before the summer vacation. And we get a title card that says Spring 1976. And then she continues to say, the town's long nightmare began that night.
I thought that the opening title scene with the moon shots was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
For a werewolf movie.
Totally. We see a man is singing while he's driving a cart on railroad tracks. And he's drinking on the job. As he's working, he thinks he hears something, but he convinces himself that he didn't. And then we see someone is watching him from behind the trees, and that someone is breathing hard. He walks over to see a giant footprint on the ground before a hairy, dark hand swipes at him, knocking his head off, and we cut to a barbershop where people hear the howl. The voiceover tells us that everyone knew Arnie as a drunk, and that was ruled an accident because he fell asleep on the tracks. That's what they thought. We cut to a town party. So Jane tells us that this town is called Tarker Mills, and the whole town came out for this party where we have barbecue, a live band, and festivities. And we find out that Jane is almost 15 and Marty is 11. Sheriff Howler is there. He gets up on the stage to get everyone's attention, asking them to take their seats. Then he turns it over to Reverend Lester Lowell. We cut to Jane, who tells her mom, whose name is Nan, that she wants to go, and her mother tells her to make sure her brother's all right. As she walks away, another girl makes fun of her, like, make sure your brother's all right, which annoys Jane a lot. And we can tell there's some issue that Jane has here with having to take care of her brother. Then we see Marty, played by Corey Haim, and his friend Brady, who's found a big snake. Marty is in a wheelchair, but that doesn't seem to stop him from having great adventures and just being a child, which I love about this character. James Voicer tells us that he was her crossed a bear and admits that he wasn't that bad, but it's always thrown in her face by her parents. Brady tells Marty that he has an idea, and he looks over at Jane, who is talking to a couple older boys, and she looks like she's showing off her new skirt.
Flirting with them.
Right.
Obviously.
Either that or her, based on what's going to happen in a little bit, her new pantyhose. But I don't think you would be like, look at my pantyhose.
Oh,
I think she's showing off
I don't
her skirt,
know.
right?
It was the 80s. Maybe that was a
Maybe.
thing.
Marty says he'll play along, but asks Brady not to go bananas or anything, which Brady acts like he would never do that. We see that Reverend Lowe is talking about a fundraiser, and we see one of those signs with a thermometer in it, which you like color it in as they get to certain markers. Jane is looking out for Marty, and she almost walks right into the snake. She jumps backwards, falls to the ground, while Brady is seen up in the tree holding the snake and laughing. We see Marty come over in his motorized wheelchair, and he's laughing, saying that it's not a big deal because it's just a garden snake. Jane is upset, though, because she ripped her new pantyhose and tells Marty that she hates him. Brady makes fun of her, implying that he is shocked that she could hate a boy in a wheelchair. And Marty tells him to stop, and we can see that he feels bad about her ripping her brand new pantyhose.
And yeah, it seems like a good brother. He's
Yeah.
His friend was being mean to his sister, and he's just
Like, he played along at first, and then he felt bad when it went too far.
yeah.
And I can understand that. Unfortunately, Jane, as soon as she gets up, Brady throws a snake at her, and she falls back again, this time into a puddle of mud. Brady laughs, asking if Jane wet herself, and Marty tells her that he's sorry. She doesn't believe him, and he tries to say he didn't mean it, but she says that he never means to do it, and she walks off, and we can see how muddy her whole outfit is. Jane goes to some trees to cry and take off her pantyhose, but then she overhears a man arguing with a woman, claiming that it isn't his baby. The woman's name is Sheila, and she is crying and says she needs his help, but he tells her just remember the good times they had and storms off. On the drive home, Nan acts like Jane is overreacting, insisting that Marty has already apologized and couldn't have climbed the tree to stop Brady if he wanted to. Jane's mad because her mother always takes Marty's side since he's in a wheelchair, and Nan threatens to smack her, and Marty apologizes again. When we get home, she wants to storm into the house, but her dad, named Bob, tells her not to forget to help her brother, so she grabs the non-motorized wheelchair that he uses to get in the house. Bob tells her not to sweat the small stuff. Marty asks Jane if Uncle Red is still coming over, and Jane throws it in Marty's face that their mom said that he's getting another divorce, and he sounded drunk.
Just that Uncle Red, right?
Yeah.
And he's an interesting character. I was just going to say that Marty's motorized wheelchair is super awesome. I got to just say.
Yeah.
It's something that even if I wasn't disabled, I'd want to sit down and drive it around.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
almost like a go-kart sort of
Right.
thing.
And then we know later he's going to get an even cooler one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jane says that he's a chronic drunk, and Marty jumps to his defense. Now that he's in the chair, she leaves him to get up on the ramp himself. That night, Marty knocks on her door, asks if she's awake. She is, but she doesn't answer, pretending to be asleep. He comes in, puts some money on her nightstand. She opens her eyes and asks what the money's for, and he says it's to buy another pair of pantyhose, and he again apologizes.
Great brother.
Oh, yeah,
See?
yeah.
Yeah, he's
I
a good
think
kid.
so.
You have to love Marty. Which
Right.
makes me wonder, like, is this gearing up for a tragedy here? Because really liking this character a lot. Or
Sure.
I am, at least.
I get it. Yeah, I like him
Yeah.
too. He asks if it's enough money, and she keeps only $1.49 and gives him the extra back. He asks if it was true what she said about Uncle Red, and she says it is, but she's sorry the way she told him. He said it's okay, and he didn't like his second wife anyway, and maybe the next one will be better. And then we have the night of another full moon. It's raining. We cut to Stella, who is pouring out a lot of red pills into a small plate. We see a picture of the baby's daddy on the mantle, and she starts to take one pill at a time. We see the POV of the creature outside that is approaching her house, but we really can't see the creature much. Maybe like his paws. Stella says she's going to go to hell, but she doesn't even care. Then the creature crawls.
She says suiciders go to hell, especially if they're pregnant, and I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
This was a really sad scene for me. Like, anytime there's a suicidal character, I really feel for them. You have to figure out what's going on. I mean, obviously, she's got a lot of problems. But this got me thinking, like, the werewolf is there. The werewolf killed a drunk, and now there's a suicidal pregnant woman the werewolf's going after. I mean, is it targeting these people with life issues?
Kind of like how Louis in an interview with a vampire killed criminals so that he felt less like he was doing wrong when he was drinking blood. Maybe.
Yeah.
The creature crawls up the window. She turns around and screams, and her mother downstairs hears it. We see some of her skin get clawed off by the monster, and her mother struggles to find a gun, and she pulls out a Smith & Wesson Model 14, which is a .38 caliber 6-shooter. She enters the room and sees Stella's mangled body on the bed and drops the gun screaming. At the police station, in his office, is Sheriff Haller on the phone with someone asking for some type of help. And before hanging up the phone, he tells the person to fuck off, which one of his deputies tells him might not have been a good idea. He says that he had already hung up when he said it. So he just pretended to tell him to fuck off, which is funny. At the bar, it's nighttime. There's a guy named Andy running his mouth about how horrible the sheriff is doing his job. The same deputies there tell everybody that the guy is pissed about the $100 that he fined him last year for a fender bender. Andy insults the deputy, but because he's the bigger man, he lets it go. Andy tells everyone that they pay taxes to keep the town safe, and someone there with a knowledge of who pays taxes says that the last town report said that Andy was behind on paying his taxes, so he must have caught up, and everyone laughs. When Andy walks up asking if the guy is trying to be smart, which I feel like dumb people always say in movies, you trying to be smart? The guy gets behind the counter, baseball bat with the words, "The Peacemaker," written on the side.
Yeah.
And
the Peacemaker.
Peace and maker are two separate words, which I swear autocorrect has a problem with. It wants it to be one word. He tells them both to cool off and leave. The next day, Marty is driving in his wheelchair, and it's the last day of school. Brady and a girl named Tammy are on their bikes, and Brady's excited to see Madman Marty and his Silver Bullet.
Hey, so his super awesome wheelchair is named Silver Bullet.
Right, I love that. I
thought that was great. I'm starting to like Marty even more here. He's a ladies' man.
Yeah.
He's escorting this girl Tammy home, you know.
Right.
And he's just all around this really good guy, which that's why I kept thinking, like, this could be a tragedy. He could die. But then he's got this wheelchair named Silver Bullet, so maybe he's the savior.
So the chair survived.
or the chair helped eliminate the werewolf. I don't know.
Maybe. On the way home, Marty's driving circles around Tammy. He tells her that his uncle fixed up a chair with glass muffler, but is supposed to be building a brand new one, and he might not be now because he's getting a divorce. He's in the doghouse with his mom. She asks if he is in the doghouse for getting a divorce, and Marty says it's his third divorce. I thought it was his second. The whole sheriff department seems to be at Stella's house when Marty and Tammy ride up, and Marty can tell that she's scared and says that they should go. When they get to the house, we find out that he's being really chivalrous because she didn't want to ride there alone, and he's not even the direction of his house. She says that she's afraid of this rundown shack that is next to the greenhouse near her house, saying that she's been hearing noises coming from it. Unfortunately, her father is not happy to see Marty. Marty says that he would go take a look, but he's afraid the wheelchair would get stuck in the mud. She says she knows it's true and gives him a kiss and says thank you. And her father calls her up, and when Marty leaves, her father seems to blame Marty for all his financial problems, saying that he's taken all his tax money, which just seems ignorant because he's a kid, and I think his parents are paying for the wheelchair.
What the heck? Or his Uncle Red.
Yeah, exactly,
really
right?
Cool
I'm sure his parents are paying for the gas.
Yeah.
On the road, we see Marty is running on empty, but luckily makes it to a gas station just in time. The owner's name is Virgil Cutts. He seems like a really nice guy and jokes around with Marty.
He's shooting the shit with the gas attendant.
I love it. He's
such a great guy.
He's like, should I fill her up? You want me to check the oil level? And he's like, yeah. Virgil adds, wipe the windshield, check the driver's bullshit level. And Marty laughs. And then we get to see when Uncle Red visits. It's nighttime. They're playing poker, telling jokes, and Marty's drinking a bottle of soda while Uncle Red is drinking, we assume, wine.
I thought it was like liquor or something. He had it in a bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. He's telling Marty
Whiskey
jokes,
or
which his
something.
mother doesn't approve of, and they're betting baseball cards. Marty wins with a straight. There's a moment here where Marty tries to bet a manager, and they have a rule you can't bet managers because no one wants to collect the manager baseball cards, which I think is funny. And then, as his mom sends him to bed, he gets on a chairlift that kind of reminded me of the chairlift in Gremlins, where the woman takes it up the stairs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Once Marty's upstairs, Non and Red fight. He thinks she treats him like his only defining trait is that he can't walk, but she's upset because Red is drunk and Marty is impressionable. They go back and forth for a bit, but she tells them that she's afraid that one day Marty will give up, which Red doesn't think he will do, but she says that Red doesn't need to show Marty how it's done, which ends a conversation.
So Uncle Red is a drunk, it's
Sure.
apparent, and he's an alcoholic or something. He just drinks a lot. And so now I was wondering, is he going to be the next target? I mean, he's got a lot of life issues going on here.
Sure.
I don't know. I was just noticing this
I like
trend.
it. I know he's drunk, and he improves a lot throughout the movie because I like his character a lot.
Oh, you do?
But
yeah,
they- but-
we don't see that yet. We see this.
Right, exactly.
But he's also really nice.
He's
to
still
Marty.
the cool uncle.
He's
though.
a cool uncle.
I could see being a kid and having an uncle that obviously is having problems, but he took me to the arcade and he did all the fun stuff like that. I would still think that's a fun person, you know.
Right.
But as a kid, I wouldn't notice that his always drinking is a problem.
Did you ever collect baseball cards?
Sure,
When
I
you were a
have the 1992 Fleer Ultra complete set, including holograms.
Wow.
Still.
Wow.
Not that it's worth anything. Last time I checked, it was like $20. I'm like, oh, great.
Interesting. There's another Stephen King story that I think most people know, The Shining.
Sure.
And that story was basically an alcoholic who was trying to get better. I think if I remember the premise of and the movie had a different take. Anyway, I noticed that this story has a lot of drunken and drug behavior. There's an opening scene with the drunkard, the pregnant woman downing the pills, the drunk dad of Tammy now, and now we're meeting Uncle Red, who drinks a lot too. And
Sure.
I just a
See the
little bit of a
parallels.
parallel there.
Sure.
yeah.
And I know that Stephen King himself has struggled with substance abuse at different times. He doesn't remember writing Cujo because he was high the whole time. And then there's
the
a lot
other
of
movie we talked about,
right. Yeah.
which he directed,
Maximum Overdrive, yeah.
Maximum Overdrive. He was, I think, high during that,
Right.
the making of that film.
And people said he drank a lot of beers during that movie. So
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So now we have another scene with Tammy's dad. He's watching pro wrestling. He's watching
he's the next victim.
NWA, which used to be the most high-profile wrestling out there until WWF came along and WCW broke out on its own. I was like, NWA, what the heck?
I didn't know that.
Right, yeah. I had to look it up. We see the same type of POV as the creature's outside, and we still don't see the creature. Tammy's dad hears someone outside breaking his pots, and so he grabs a Winchester Model 70 loaded with rock salt shells because he wants to hurt them and not kill them. He probably thinks it's just a rodent of some kind. He walks out into the greenhouse and finds the pots broken. He walks around a section and hears something, but only manages to shoot more of his own pots.
So, Tammy, when she was talking to Marty,
Yeah.
she mentioned that there was something that she's been hearing out there.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would have been bold enough to go out there. But this guy had been drinking inside before he went out, so maybe he's just not in his
if
right
he just
mind.
thought it was a rodent.
Yeah,
He didn't think it was a big creature. I mean, a couple of people have died, sure.
it's a lot of noise from the building, though.
Right. The floor, it starts shaking. He gets pulled through a plank of wood, and then he gets ripped to shreds. The next day, the newspaper reads, "Maniac claims another victim. Police investigation yields no clues. Town shaken." We hear over the radio that the sheriff has issued a curfew of 5 p.m., and the mayor asks the sheriff if he has any leads, and he tells him he's working on it.
I did like the scene, though. When he was in the greenhouse shooting, I thought it was funny whenever he shot the pots.
Yeah.
I said, shit, out loud.
Yeah.
And then he said, shit. And I was just, maybe it's me being a dad now and
Right.
oh, crap.
Now
I got
that
to
I
clean
own a
that
house.
out.
Right. Like, oh,
Got to
that
clean
sucks.
it all up. But yeah, I thought that the way that he proceeded through the building, and then there was like the werewolf watching him the whole way. Like the werewolf was under the stairs, if I remember right, which he was walking up. And it just created a lot of suspense. And I just thought they did a good job with the angles and how they showed the werewolf's perspective from like underneath through the slats of the floorboard. And yeah, and the spider coming in too. I don't know if you remember that part, but there was like a non-venomous spider that came in there. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool. All right, then we see a sign saying Remington shotguns, both single and double action, which run from $200 to $300. And we see people rushing into their houses before it gets dark. Marty, on the other hand, is climbing a tree and gets a kite out of the tree. He's hanging out with Brady, who is also flying a kite, which is yellow with a smiley face on it. Jane rides up to tell him to get out of the tree because their mom had dinner ready an hour ago. Marty asks if she's mad, and Jane says she's only mad that Jane has not found him faster. Jane helps him out of the tree after saying that she should just let him fall, and they ride away. Marty asks Brady if he's coming, and he says he's going to be a while, and Marty looks back as if he knows it's the last time he's going to see his friend. Back at the bar, Andy's going on about how they should demote the sheriff to dog catcher. The deputy who's playing billiards comes over and tells Andy to shut his mouth, and as they are about to fight, a man named Herb comes in asking if anybody's seen his boy Brady.
And the fact that he wasn't coming, that sort of like spelled doom. And then the irony of his kite was a smiley face kite that he was flying.
It reminds me of Watchmen.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, the ominous music kind of gave it away to me that something was going to happen to Brady in that previous scene.
So we cut to the kite being bloody and is being held by the sheriff, who's saying Hail Marys. The body is under a tarp in the gazebo. The deputy drives up with Herb, and Herb runs to the boy, and the deputy nor the sheriff can stop him. He pulls back the tarp and is horrified, but we aren't shown what he looks like.
I thought it was interesting. The sheriff was saying a Hail Mary prayer. Like, he's trying to, like, look for some supernatural help here because something bad happened. It's crazy. This was probably my favorite death in the movie, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, just because of all these little things coming in together.
Sure, okay. Now at Tarker's Mills Christian Church, Reverend Lester Lowe presides. The casket is all white and the mood is very somber. Red is there with the family and pulls out a flask, but he thinks twice about drinking in front of Andy. Reverend Lowe messages about the beast and how the beast's face always becomes known and the time of the beast always passes. Outside, Red asks Don for permission to take Marty home, and while she's reluctant for a bit, she does give in. He drives him in a soft-top convertible 1975 MGB Roadster. Uncle Red says that they better get the guy, and Marty asks him, what if it's not a guy? Red asks what he means, and Marty says, what if it's some kind of monster? And Red laughs at that. Marty adds that it could be a werewolf, and Red laughs some more.
He's too bright.
Yeah. When they get to the house, Marty tells Red that Tammy said she heard growling noises at the greenhouse.
I wanted to back up a little bit. The preacher said, the face of the beast always comes known, and the time of the beast always passes. I thought that was a pretty good quote, and just the fact that Marty's figuring out it's a werewolf here. Things are kind of coming to light slowly, and I just like the progression of this movie. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. Red tells him to get the idea out of his head because psychotics are more active when the moon is full, and this guy's a psycho. Red adds that when they catch him, they're going to find out he's as human as they are. We cut to Andy leading a mob, 6 groups where they're going to be searching. The sheriff and deputy show up to break it up, ordering them to all go home. Andy argues that him and his deputy haven't done anything to solve this case and couldn't catch a cold. The sheriff tells them that what he's doing is called private justice, which is one step away from lynch mobs and hanging people. The sheriff tells them to go home, and Andy is able to get the crowd back on his side. As they run to their vehicles, the Reverend is outside trying to talk everyone out of it. He begs the sheriff for help, but the sheriff says that this is what he wanted, which is community spirit. He's saying it sarcastically, obviously. Yeah. The Reverend runs to each vehicle in turn, but they just keep driving. We cut to the mob arriving at the woods, and they're all armed with rifles. You can see that they're scared by every little noise that happens.
Are you going to make lemonade in your pants? Ain't scared. Let's go.
We see one guy step on a bear trap. A guy tries to remove it, but is distracted when someone else calls out, which makes him let go of the trap, and it clamps his leg again.
That's just I noticed, though, that was a very ominous sign, seeing the bear trap there. But I noticed that the moon is out and it's still full. And technically, a full moon should last only one day.
3 days.
Okay. So interesting you said that, because I looked it up on astronomy.com and it said, to our eyes, the moon seems full for around 3 days.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's been more than 3 days here, but it's still full.
Well, no, I don't think these attacks happened within the same month. And if you read the book, the first attack happened at the end of spring. Then it's been school let out, right? And so it's a new month when he attacked.
That makes sense now.
Each victim, it's been a new month.
I thought it was like, this moon is just, it's staying full.
The movie doesn't do it as much as the book does. But the book, the chapters are titles of months.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the group can't decide where to go. Someone mentions they can't trust this fog, which makes another member of the group say it's under the fog and around them. Sure enough, one of the guys in the group is killed first, thrown to a tree. Another guy tells Andy to start to back up really slowly, but that guy is then grabbed, and Andy fires his gun into the air out of fear and then starts to run. The guy makes it above the fog, and half of his face is missing, which makes the group all run. The bar owner with his peacemaker bat is brought down and killed by his own bat, which breaks into 2 pieces.
The peacemaker bat was wielded by the werewolf.
At the funeral, we see 4 caskets. The Reverend looks very bothered at the altar, and he looks out at the sheriff staring right at him while everyone is singing Amazing Grace. The Reverend sees Herb, who's also staring at him. Reverend Lowell looks like he's sweating and tells the congregation that it's hard to find the words to offer them any comfort, and Herb yells out that there isn't any comfort and starts laughing, saying that there's only private justice. The Reverend continues as people start to look at him menacingly as Herb speaks up, saying that Brady was torn apart. It looks like he's transformed into a wolf. Then slowly everyone in attendance starts transforming into werewolves, and the organ player starts playing creepy music. The body starts to bust out of the casket, and all the wolves start attacking him.
This was just confusing. But then we find out it's only the preacher's dream here.
Right.
So this whole scene, there is more death, but this whole part was just the preacher's nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the big clue. What we're expecting.
I don't know.
We see a sign that at Taker's Mill's Gala Fairgrounds that the fireworks have been canceled. Marty's upset about this, and Jane mocks him because he finally is not going to get something he wants. Nan tells her to stop, and Jane claims that they always make everything her fault. Bob jumps in to tell her that she needs to listen to her mother. Oh, so if you think about this, right? They're talking about the July 4th fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And school let out in May.
Right.
So it's been
this makes sense.
Months have happened.
Yeah.
Right. The radio again is advising everyone in honor of the sheriff's curfew to not leave town. And Marty's family passes a car with luggage on top and a trailer behind it because they are leaving, which is the smartest thing people can do in this movie. The family is having barbecue, and Jane is playing badminton in the backyard with another girl. Marty's helping Uncle Red work on something in the garage, though he has the garage door mostly closed enough so he can dunk under and Marty can't see. And I do want to point out, the last time we saw him hold a liquor bottle but decide not to drink it was in the church because he didn't want to drink in front of Marty. From then on, I don't think he drinks alcohol in this movie.
Yeah, that was interesting. It made me think maybe he's turning over a new leaf here from that moment in the church.
Marty goes on how everything has gone wrong and he seems mad at Jane because she has all these new clothes which makes her happy. Red lays it down as he sees it. The man killed his best friend and his girl ran out of town, and now they canceled the only carnival he's got. Marty agrees that those are the reasons he is mad, and Red says he might have something to cheer him up. Marty covers his eyes and he opens the garage to reveal a new silver bullet, which has a silver and red body flame, much bigger, shiny wheels, and chrome coming out of the back for exhaust pipes.
So awesome. So the original chair was
really
super
high.
awesome, but this is just amazing.
The exhaust pipes are like 3.5 feet up, which is ridiculous. And it generally looks like a hot rod.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Red asks if he has his pilot license. Red goes around the corner and looks super suspicious as he's watching to see if Nan is preoccupied. She catches him. He just waves and then runs back, telling Marty the coast is clear, and adds that he feels like a virgin on prom night, which is not something he should be telling Marty.
He also says the kid's dead meat.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's awesome.
But he tells him something really important here, too. He says he built the silver bullet because he loves Marty but he wants him to be careful on it.
Yeah, he tells him he doesn't want to go too fast because it would kill him if Marty got hurt. So Marty drives off, passes a truck on the road before turning around and coming back. As he returns, Red dramatically says that he is dying because Marty was going super fast. Red tells him to be careful because if not, found out that he's going to end up singing soprano in the Vienna Boys Choir. Marty understands what he means, and Red gets serious, telling him that he built it because he loves him, but if he got hurt, he would really be hurt as well. And Red says they should go eat. We cut to the mill where everyone's having a good time, and Nan and Red are actually getting along. She says she wishes it could always be this way, and he says it might be if she keeps inviting him over for pork dinners. Red asks Marty to escort him to the front to keep him out of trouble, and Bob asks for more coffee. My kind of people. Coffee in the middle of the night. That's me. Oh, yeah, all the way. At the car, Red opens the trunk to tell him that he said he had something for him, and he does. He pulls out a bag of fireworks, saying that he's going to get this 4th of July, but he is going to have it in September. So it's been 5 months from the beginning of the movie at this point. Red tells him that he needs to stay near the house where he's going to set them off and ask him to save the rocket for last. Tells him to hide them in the bushes for now. Red gets in his car and tells him to stay near the house, and Marty promises that he will. Red drives off jokingly, telling Marty to watch out for werewolves. Right?
Yeah, so wait, where is all the speculation that there is a werewolf coming from?
I don't know, maybe just
they figured it out. Maybe because of the wolf cry after the first death.
And the preacher talking about the beast. We cut to night where Marty's climbing out of his window down a ladder that looks like it was set up just for him.
The window, you can fall.
Yeah, but he's got to have good arm strength. Then he's driving far from the house, which is exactly what Red told him not to do. He goes out to a bridge and he starts setting off fireworks. The camera pans across the water to reveal a reflection of the werewolf's face, and we hear the growling. We watch as he sets off more, and the creature slowly approaches the bridge. Marty seems to hear it because he doesn't know what it is, or even really what he heard. He lights another firework, and then he starts to light the rocket. He sees the wolf walking towards him, so he finishes lighting the rocket and lets it go. It goes off and flies right into the werewolf's eye.
That was awesome. Yeah, I thought that was
my favorite scene.
Quick thinking on his part there. I've got a story about that being a pyromaniac.
And it's like he put the geese eye from Zelda on, so it'd find the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. What's your story?
Right. So I don't know if you were there that time, but I just got a great job out of college. I was a young guy, so I went and spent a lot of money on fireworks for July 4th. And we went to a high school parking lot.
I think I might have been there.
And these two guys just decided to have
a Roman candle war.
A Roman candle war.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep.
like, no, thank you, dude. Give me eye protection first. I'm aiming for the other guy's nuts. All right. So he took out this werewolf's eye. Marty backs up and drives home super fast, climbing in his room and his bed with his clothes still on. We cut to Red, who's asleep in bed with a bottle of wild turkey next to him. So he does still drink, but it looks like maybe just at home. The phone rings and Marty is frantically telling him that he saw a werewolf. Red tells him it was just a dream, and Marty tries to explain that he was out shooting the fireworks, but Red tells him there's no such thing as werewolves and to have pity on him, and he hangs up the phone. As he lays back down, a woman in the bed next to him says, "Who is that?" And he says, "Obscene phone call." So he's already got woman number 4 lined up. The next morning, Jane comes out to check on Marty, who has been sitting out in the yard doing nothing. He asks her where Mom is, then says that he has to talk to her. She seems concerned, and he tells her that Uncle Red won't believe him, and if she doesn't help him, and she starts to cry. We get the older Jane voiceover again, telling us that Marty explained something that was clearly unbelievable, yet she seemed to believe him and knew that Marty believed it all.
So she's kind of changing here. At first she said that she didn't believe him, but Janie does believe him, right?
Yeah, she does. It's amazing. So we have a scene where she's collecting canned bottles from the church for a charity drive that they talked about at the beginning of the movie.
Because she believed what Marty said, she's basically going out under the guise of collecting these bottles and cans for the charity event, but with the secret intent of finding some person with the hurt eye that would have been hurt during the firework hitting it.
And so she goes from house to house, meeting everybody in the town, asking for cans. Sometimes people have already been there to collect cans before her, and she's just happy to get to see their eyeballs. We get a couple of shots where people open the door and they're only peeking out from one eye, and then when they tell her, "Oh, it's Jane," they open the door and she can see all four eyeballs of both people, and nothing's there
Wait, 4 eyeballs?
of two
Oh,
people.
for 2 people. I was like,
The
what?
funniest
Is this a
is-
monster movie?
As
It
at
is.
the barber shop. It is a monster movie. At the barber shop, there's one guy who's under a warm towel before you get a shave, and she goes and literally pulls the towel up to ask if he has any cans, and he's like, no. He's really annoyed, and she puts the towel back, but she gets to see his eyes. I remember watching this movie as a child. This is the first horror movie that my dad sat me down and said, hey, let's watch a scary movie together. Before this movie, I had seen most of Dark Night of the Scarecrow, but I think I just went into the living room while other people were watching and kind of sat there and watched it without making a big deal, and no one made a big deal that I was watching the movie. And that movie terrified me as a kid. But this is the first movie that my dad said, hey, let's watch a scary movie together with me. And I loved it. I've loved it since being a child. It definitely holds a place for being the first one, right? And then my dad did the same thing to my oldest kid. He sat him down and said, hey, let's watch a scary movie together, which I get to do all the time, which I love. Like my middle kid went to go see Final Destination Bloodlines with me, which is awesome. So after my dad showed my oldest kid, Joshua, this movie, he started having nightmares that my brother, his uncle, was a vampire, which is like totally weird. So
Wait, hold on. He watched this movie about werewolves.
Yep.
But had a nightmare about your brother being a vampire.
Yeah, I just thought it was totally funny. But yeah, but that's why this movie holds a place in my heart, because it was the first horror movie that my dad was
Nice.
like, let's watch together.
Do you remember how old you were?
Maybe 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Then we see at the church she's pissed off now. She can't believe she believed Marty. And Jane tells the reverends that she's got her cans and bottles. The reverend tells her to go put them in the garage and bring out her tally sheet. You could see that he's working on flower bed, but she can't see him because he's facing the other direction working on his flowers. She says that her brother gets her mad sometimes, and the camera pans the reverend's face, and we get to see it with an eye patch on it.
What?
And he says little brothers tend to do that.
Whoa, surprised that the
yeah.
preacher's
Dun,
eye has
dun.
a bandage on it. Oh, man. Like,
She-
but it explains a lot at this point, because he was trying to stop the community, the mob,
Oh, yeah.
from going out after the serial killer, and his nightmare about the congregation participants turning into werewolves.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she opens the garage and something smells really bad to her. She sees a mouse and jumps back, lands in a pile of cans. She gets up and finds the broken peacemaker bat.
What?
And the reverend walks in to ask if she's having some trouble. She finally sees his face and cannot hide her fear, and he sees that she's trembling. She tells him that she must have gotten too much sun and doesn't feel well. He asks her if she would like to come to the parlor, come down and have a cold drink, but she says no to both. She says that she should go home and help her mother with dinner. He offers to give her a ride, but she says no, that's okay. As she walks off, he tells her to give her brother his best, which seems to cause her to stumble and bump into Reverend's car, which is a 1973 Ford Galaxy 500 colored blue. That last detail is important. We cut to after she's told the story to Marty, and she's asking him what they're going to do. Marty gets the idea of a newspaper letter cut out ransom-style notes, which reads, I know who you are, I know what you are, so why don't you kill yourself? Something like that.
So I'm curious, it's completely unrelated story. Well, sort of related, but there was a series that came out a few years back called Midnight Mass, and I don't know if you watched it, but it reminded me of the preacher. The preacher's the bad guy here, and it's the bad guy in the Midnight Mass. I don't want to give away too much if you haven't seen it, but it was okay. I do like this storyline much better though.
Yeah,
but I was just curious if you'd watch that.
No, it's by Mike Flanagan, and I love everything I've ever seen by Mike Flanagan. So I know that I would like it, but because he's done Oculus, which I own the Blu-ray too, The Haunting of Hill House, Doctor Sleep, which I own the Blu-ray too, Life of Chuck's coming out this year, The House of Fall of Usher, that's really good. So everything that I've ever watched that he's done has been amazing. So, yeah, it's on my list. It's just like, it's hard to watch TV shows. It's hard to get them
Is
all in
this series, you mean? Like just because they're long? Or...
Because they're longer. Where
Yeah.
I can watch a movie in a night and be done. But to watch a TV series, especially when there's long running ones that I've always watched when they come out, right? Doctor Who, Star Trek, anything that's I've been watching for a long time. Bosch just finally ended after 10 seasons. That was intense. So yeah, it's hard to make time for that. I'm still on season 2 of Black Mirror. Which I started watching because of you. But it's so good. It is. But all right. So they take that letter and Jane drops it off in a mailbox. We see the Reverend reading the letter while the voiceover of older Jane explains that they mailed the letter every day for 3 days. And then on Saturday, they told Uncle Red what they'd been doing. His reaction is hilarious. He says, "Holy jumped up bald being Jesus Palomona." Like, what the heck? Palomina. He tells them that he would expect it from Marty, but not from Jane. They ask him about the baseball bat, and Jane says that it looked like Bigfoot had used it as a toothpick. Red asks if they want to know what he thinks, and Marty sarcastically says, "No, we just called you out here to admire your pretty little face."
I like that part. I'm a little too old to be playing the Hardy Boys meet Reverend Wolf.
Yeah, that's so good. I read so many Hardy Boys books.
I was going to ask, did you read that?
I still got a ton of Hardy Boys books upstairs. I try to get my kids to read them, but they're more into like stuff with dragons.
Okay.
Red goes on about how they need to forget it, but then we cut to him parked in Nan's station wagon, and they're spying on the Reverend. He's next to that fundraiser sign with the thermometer. They stick to the story, and James seems to at least make a good point when she says that the garage smelled like an animal's den that day, and adds that she doesn't know what she believes, but she does believe Marty, and Red used to believe in him too. Sometime later, Marty is watching the kids play baseball.
I thought this was a sad scene because he's clearly distraught and he's watching these children play with working legs.
Yeah.
And you start to feel like some compassion towards it, just...
Sure. This is the only time where he's not involved, though. Normally, the kids all have him involved. And they actually ask if he wants to come hang out with them to go to the store and get some sodas together. But he says he just should head home. So they don't mean to leave him out, I don't think.
Oh,
I just
okay.
think
Maybe,
I think he showed up, they were already playing.
Also, with everything that's been happening lately.
He's preoccupied.
Yeah, exactly. So, you mentioned the blue car.
Yeah,
earlier.
We're about to see it right now.
Yeah.
So on his way home, we see that blue car is following him. Marty goes over a bridge, and the Reverend swipe Marty, but luckily Marty doesn't fall in. So he comes around, Marty's able to dodge him, and he almost falls off the bridge, but he doesn't. They have a chase scene. Lowell pulls up beside him, another car is coming, and Lowell has to slow down to swerve to not get hit. Marty and Lowell pass a sign that reads, "Bridge unsafe and condemned, danger, no trespassing." Lowell missing an attempt to hit him, and his car gets stuck in some soft dirt. Marty's in trouble because he's running out of fuel, and he makes it into the condemned bridge while it has a shed structure over it. He looks back to see that Lowell is driving to him slowly, and he tries to start the Silver Bullet but is unable.
This whole chase scene, despite the music score, I was hearing another chase song in my head. I thought it was a really good chase scene, though. Yeah. And when the preacher was driving by, I noticed that he had these bumper stickers on his car. Did you see that? Mm-mm. One of them said, "Pray today."
Okay. So he gets in there. Marty tells him he won't tell anyone, and Lowell tells him that he should have left him alone. Lowell goes on to say that he can't kill himself because doing that is a great sin for any man or woman to commit. And he says that Stella was trying to do that, and he saved her soul by killing her.
He's saving people from hell by Mr. Bitterman. Yeah. Anyway, but Marty, what's happening to him? Is he hanging from the bridge? I forget what happened here.
No, he's under the shed that is built on top of the bridge. So he's in the bridge. But
okay, he's
ready to throw him into the water.
Got it.
But then a man...
Mr. Bitterman comes in here, the farmer.
Zinnerman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Comes by on a tractor, and he starts yelling. He gets his attention, and then the Reverend backs away and drives off as Mr. Zinnerman looks in and asks if Marty got spooked. And he says that it's okay because he gets scared if he was in there too. Then we jump to Red telling Marty and Jane that it was a little easier to believe the story without all the hair and the teeth. We find out that Red has talked to the sheriff but reports that the Reverend hasn't complained about any poison pen pals. Then Red starts to look over the bullet and stops at the back where he sees some damage, and he asks Jane what color Lowell's car is, And she says blue, then notices and points to this, saying this blue. And now Red is back at the sheriff's office after the story is being told. The sheriff says that it's the craziest story he's ever heard in his life and asks Red if he believes any of it, and the sheriff can see in his face that he does. Red responds that he believes that at least Reverend Lowe should be checked out, and the sheriff says that that could be arranged. That night, Sheriff Holler is at the church looking around. He knocks on the door, doesn't get an answer.
Around. I think he's going to die.
He makes it to the garage and goes inside. Using the flashlight, looks around. He does see the damage on the car, and he comes up on the Reverend.
Onto him.
Yeah. Sheriff Holler pulls out the Colt New Frontier revolver, asking Lowell to come with him. Lowell knocks the gun away, saying that it's not his fault, and starts to transform right in front of Howler. Lowell proceeds to beat Howler to death with the Peacemaker. Now, Red, Marty, and Jane are by the lake talking about how the sheriff has now gone missing. Red asks what they suggest he do about it, and then Marty hands over his necklace made of silver, telling Red that he wants to make a silver bullet. Red says that the moon wasn't even full, and Jane says that maybe in made-up stories the moon has to be full, but what if he's like this all the time and only becomes more wolf when the moon becomes full? Then she hands over her necklace as well. Red asks how they think Lowell became a werewolf, and Jane says she doesn't know, but maybe he doesn't know either. Marty says that he thinks he will come after him, not because he knows who he is, but because he hurt him. Marty thinks he'll wait for the full moon when there's no Reverend Lowell, only the monster. Red tells Marty that he's gone out of his mind, and Marty asks him if he'll do it. And this is another one of my favorite scenes. We cut to Mac's gun store, where inside the wall is covered with borrowing auto 5 shotguns, Remington 1100 shotguns, double barrel shotguns, and muskets. Red tells Mac that Marty has just discovered the Lone Ranger, and he puts down his 2 pieces of silver on the counter, and Mac knows that he wants a silver bullet and seems fascinated. We get another older Jane voiceover telling us that Red went to go see a man that is a gunsmith, and he was an old world's craftsman. We are told that he checked the purity of the silver, and then we watch as he melts down the silver into a cast, knocks off the extra from a solid straight piece to attach the cartridge case loading with gunpowder and primer. Mac.
Very cool. So he's made a silver bullet from
Yes.
the kid's medallion and crucifix. Yeah.
Right. Then Max gives it to Red, saying it's the nice piece of work he's ever done. He adds that it is a low-grain load, so it won't tumble, and it should be pretty accurate. Red tries to play it off like it's a gag, saying, "What would I shoot with a .44 bullet made out of silver?" And Mac replies, "How about a werewolf?" And he seems to be dead serious about the matter. More voiceover tells us that the next full moon came on Halloween, and that happy coincidence left them in the sole care of Uncle Red. We see Nan and Bob packing for vacation. Nan is super thankful for Red, saying he was just lucky to win a trip for 2 after his wife left him. So they drive off, and Jane asks if he really won a trip for 2 to New York. And he says he didn't, but he did win himself a subscription to Popular Mechanics, which is funny. So he got rid of the parents by faking that he won a trip.
So they're staying up
Right.
pretty much the
This is
whole
their
night.
plan, yeah.
Yeah.
We cut to it being 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, and the TV is now playing the national anthem, which, if you were younger and you didn't know this, TV stations would turn off and play the national anthem. We see that a lot in Poltergeist.
Oh.
Yeah. So like TV
those
stations
bars would be like on the screen or something?
well, we would see it would turn to static.
Oh, okay.
Well, first we'd have the national anthem. We'd see that monument with the soldiers holding the flag. After the national anthem would play, the station would turn off because it's done for the night, and we would get to static. So there's a time where it's like, all right, it's too late, everybody go to bed. So everyone is asleep, and Red has the Smith & Wesson Model 629 in his lap. We see the werewolf's POV. He's outside, and then Red wakes up when his cigarette burns him. Jane tells him he's going to burn himself one day, and Marty sees the gun on the floor, saying that if that had gone off, it would have been the end of their silver bullet.
But the werewolf was outside.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
They don't
but
know that.
We know that as viewers because
Right.
of the camera.
They'll know it in a minute. Red says he's had enough, and they're going to bed. They're like, "But you said," and he's like, "I don't care what I said. There's no werewolf outside these walls of this house." He says he will stay up all night with the gun because he told them he would, but they need to go to bed. They're upset about it, but then Jane sees a face of the werewolf in the window and screams. This makes Red scream in turn, and she says it was the wolf. I laughed when he screamed. He asked Marty if he saw it. He said no, he was looking at him. Red says he will look, and he cocks the gun. After he looks, Red says he's feeling like a horse's ass for believing him, and Jay tells him that she saw him. He takes out the bullet from the gun and says he knows what she saw, but then the lights cut out as the werewolf pulls the power outside. Red tells him not to panic. Marty says he's here, and Red tells him it could just be a fuse. They hear something from the other side of the house, and they all turn to look. That's when the wolf comes in from behind Red. They all turn screaming. Red points the gun, but the bullet is in his hand. The wolf knocks the gun away, and the bullet flies, and Marty leaps out of his chair to try to catch it. Unfortunately, it falls into the heating vent in the floor, which I remember in old, like, trailer houses and stuff.
They still have that in houses like in the, I know it's the Northeast.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A
Like, I
lot
guess
of
they have
houses.
basements.
Yeah, but
right? Yeah.
not down south where we are.
Right, exactly. The wolf throws Red against the wall and breaks the cabinet. Marty tells Jane to get the gun. She goes for it, but the werewolf grabs her by the face, lifting her in the air. Red hits the wolf in the back with some firewood, so he drops Jane, and she's able to recover the gun. Red's thrown into the mantle above the fireplace, breaking the mirror, and Marty tries to reach down for the bullet. Red attacks with a fire poker, which gives Marty enough time to get the bullet. Red is thrown again, landing behind the couch. Marty loads the bullet into the gun. Marty locks eyes with the wolf, and he fires, hitting the wolf in his only good eye, which is freaking amazing. The wolf goes backwards, falling to the floor. He gets really quiet, and the kids watch as he slowly reverts back to Reverend Lowell.
Yeah, so Marty shot the werewolf.
In the other eye.
Awesome. In the other, like, I got that one already.
Red gets back up to see this process and says, "Holy pumped up Jesus Palomina." One more jump scare as the Reverend sits up, reaching out before falling backwards and dying. Jane cries, and Red goes to hold Marty, and Marty tells him that he's dead.
Don't worry, he's dead. So then Janie asks Marty if he's all right. And I like this line.
Yeah.
He says,
He goes, yeah.
"All except my legs. I don't think I can walk."
It's awesome. She like hits him while like half crying, half laughing. So the voiceover from older Jane comes in again, saying she wasn't always able to say that she loved Marty, but she could that day. And then the credits roll.
I really like this movie.
It's good.
I thought it was good, yeah.
The bottle
it's
rocket's
fun.
my favorite scene.
It's not too gory. It's kind of a nice break
vehicle.
from the Saw movies we've been covering.
What?
Which are super gory
What are you
compared to this.
talking about?
They're not gory.
The first one's not that gory, I'm telling you.
But yeah, I do like pretty much all of Stephen King's stories, though.
So, differences in the book. In the book, Marty and Brady never share a scene. Marty's dad is a teacher and a coach at the school. The nickname names the villain the Full Moon Killer. Instead of a motorized wheelchair, it is Uncle Al that has made a nice convertible that he takes Marty out for speeding on the road.
Oh.
One guy named Neary has a conversation about not believing that it could be a werewolf and it must be a man in a mask. So when he attacks, he tries to reach for the guy's face to pull off the mask and nothing comes loose.
I really liked how the movie did some of these, though.
Yeah. The silver bullet wheelchair is so iconic. And it was not in the original
Wow, I
novella.
didn't know that.
To show the anger of the town, there's a few scenes of people beating up other people, which end up requiring medical attention. Reverend Lowe is Baptist and Marty is a Catholic, so it wasn't until Halloween when they are trick-or-treating that Marty realizes who the person with the missing eye is.
Interesting.
2 bullets are made. His sister is not involved in planning the final battle, and the final showdown happens on New Year's Eve, not Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks for covering those.
Yeah, I read the book. I mean, because I'm going to. I love Stephen King. So those are a few notable differences, but I liked it, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we can cover some more of these Stephen King stories in the
Yeah,
future.
I'd
I know
also
we
like
will.
to do some other monster things, because I know we're covering different classic monsters, which I think are fun. So
One of the things that I don't think we mentioned was... Oh, you did. You mentioned how Jane has these... She kind of narrates.
yeah,
And I forgot how you put it, but she does.
an older Jane voiceover.
Yeah, the voiceovers. I did like how Jane was narrating through these voiceovers, and some of the things she said really provided some backstory, filled in the gaps. Yeah. I also found that it was interesting. In 1985, Back to the Future came out, and it also starred a Marty.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
like mid-'80s.
Yeah.
Marty
That's
was
a good
popular
movie.
character.
That's a movie I watched so much that my wife says, now that we have kids, make them watch it once a year with them. She's done. She used to watch it once a year at the most for Back to the Future, but now she's done. She's seen. I made her see it enough in a lifetime, I think.
Oh my gosh.
It's too funny.
I got the trilogy set on DVD.
Yeah, me too.
And one of them's missing, and I'm
Oh.
so upset about
What I love is that trilogy set, the one I got, has 11 hours of bonus content.
Wow.
More than the actual movie, which I love in bonus content.
But back to these Stephen King
Yeah.
movies. I think they're great.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so this has been Nightmare Echoes. We have new episodes every Monday. If you'd like to follow us on social medias, the links are in the description. Thank you, Stephen, for being here, and we hope you get to hear us again. Bye.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.